most people overweight the danger involved, the risk involved in being hyper-transparent. So when we started doing this, right, when we were, first of all, I'm going to tell you the hack because it's an interesting one. When we hired our first employee, so first it was just my co-founder and I, hired the third person coming into the team. One of the decisions we have to make is like, okay, well, what do we tell this person? Like that was like a decision we have to make. And my co-founder and I looked at each other. It's like, well, the easiest path is like, tell them everything, right? It's like that's an easy binary kind of choice. And so then we just kept doing that. And then as we grew, our board, our advisors, people just like, okay, well, yeah, that's fine right now. But what happens when you guys are out raising a funding round and they can see the cash balance kind of depleting and they know you've been on the road for 5 weeks and it's like the cash is going to run, or like what happens then? And as it turns out, nothing. It's like even though we've gone through those dark periods. And the funny thing is, so yes, there's risk involved, but what ends up happening when you have a hyper-transparent culture, when you know what the rules are, so we have this hyper-transparent culture, you end up hiring people that are way unlikely to take advantage or abuse that trust, right? It's like, okay, well, if we didn't have that transfer, like we can hire people. It's like, okay, well, is this someone that we feel like we can like reveal all of our financials so that we can tell this? Will they use this against us? Will they? And in 9.5 years, we have 1,100 employees in the company. We have never had a breach of trust, right? And it's crazy. And we've had lots of people, and we grow fast. We've had people leave. So I would still highly recommend doing it. Yes, there are challenges, but the upside is immense. Number one is, as a society, we value transparency a lot, especially like early stage, especially in startup land. I was going to run this diabolical experiment at HubSpot, and I use the word diabolical because that's the word to use. That's what it is. I was going to go ask people when they were hired, it's like, okay, we have this thing, we have this very transparent culture. Here's this kind of server that we have, this wiki, that we have all these documents and all this information. You can have access to that, or you can get 10% more in comp if you just don't care about that. It's like, okay, what's the actual economic value that people would just place on the kind of access to information? Like, do you really want it that badly? I didn't run the experiment. My thesis is if we had run the experiment, just about everyone would have said, I want access to the information. Because it gives you a level of security that you know what's going on. Not that you need to like contribute to every decision. But once again, it's like, okay, well, it's like in startup land, it's a very crazy thing. This is one of the things when you're recruiting, which is you're going to do when you start building the company. You're convincing the overall kind of goal of an early stage startup is to convince exceptionally smart people to do this very stupid thing, which is join you in this kind of crazy thing that doesn't make any sense, right? Like if you like objectively looked at it, it's like, why would they do that? What transparency allows you to do is at least make some convincing arguments, like, okay, if this is completely crazy, at least you'll know what's going on, and it gives you, lots of leverage in terms of recruiting and things like that. So.